What's up, Rockstars? How's it going? Today I have an exciting video for you because today I am unboxing Okko Chronicles. It has a really bad tear in here, but I'm excited because this is the new Okko Chronicles. It's just like the Okko Chronicles we know and love, except it's not. It's actually a tower defense game. I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited to find out what I should have expected to begin with. Let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to look at all the components and then, of course, follow up with a review. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Alright guys, let's get into it. Now, I took it out of the box because the box had a whole bunch of shipping labels on and stuff like that, but I have not opened this at all. I just literally lifted it out and put it here. Putted it is not a word that made me sound really dumb. One other thing I wanted to point out is there is another box of minis here, so I don't know if there are any minis in here, and I guess we'll find out. Maybe they're repeated. I don't know. They came a day apart from each other, so I'm going to actually try and peek, see if there's anything on the back. Okay, there's a full back, so I am going to risk it for the biscuit and flip it over. Ooh, how bad could it be, right? Oh no! Oh, that sounded terrible. Oh, what have I done? Okay. Alright. Whoo! There that was the longest turn I've ever. Got the lexicon. This is just like their old stuff. Like, they don't have the they don't even have like the SKU number here, the UPC or anything like that. That's awesome. That's cool. It's just all blank there. I love it. I like how the in isn't Cowboys, but made in China is. Sure, whatever. Some of the new art, some of the new enemies. You can see some of the classic characters we know and love, all looking different, all looking super cool. Setsuka in particular, I think, is awesome without her helmet. I think that looks great. She has her helmet on the back there. She's still missing that arm. Love it. If there's one thing we don't see a lot of, we get in a lot of those, like, we're not getting a lot of different body types. But we have started getting like people in like wheelchairs and stuff, but stuff like people missing arms and stuff like that, like in like a not like a graphic way, like I don't have my arm kind of thing. Super cool, love it. Very unique. I don't have another miniature missing their arm like that, so very cool. Well, I do, but it's her in the regular game. And then it talks about it a little bit. So it's all story of how Okko and his companions defend the Pajan Empire from hordes of undead summoned by the mysterious Karasu cult. Oh, okay. So we're gonna flip this back over again. I'm just gonna get it over with. Oh, that sounds bad. Okay. Love the art again. Think it's great. Like the big old Okko there. This strip of black is kind of interesting. I don't think the other ones had this. I have to check. It's all in that nice big box that they have now anyway too. So I don't even know if I have the original boxes. All right. And of course, prototype. This is all prototype. That should be obvious. So this is also just this 2 to 5. I believe it's 1 to 5 now. I believe that's the case. I'll correct it if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 1 to 5. So on the back here, it's a standard game board box as far as I can tell. Like for a prototype, it's normal. Okay. Oh man, there were loose minis in there. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sure it happened many times while it was shipping too. Ideally, there would have been some padding here, but it doesn't look like there was. Okay, so I got the rule book here. A quick look. Obviously, you can prototype, so it's like, is it just folded? Is it even stapled? Yes, okay, it does have 2 staples. It's like, oh my gosh. All right, let's take a look on the back. In the back, we got an index. The index right now is not an index, however. It is in alphabetical order, and it looks like it's probably not based off the headers, right? So it's like a table of contents. One thing that it needs, all right, is first of all, this is closer to a glossary or definition, where it has like a little bit of what each thing is. Whereas an index typically doesn't have that and would fit all of this in one page, but it needs the number of the page number that actions are set on, or and see here it's like actions and action card. Okay, there we go. Amputated, right? Where is amputated listed here? If there's an index, it might only be listed here. In which case, but I'm assuming status applied to a character. That's like, how useful is this really? This is useless for me to look up. So don't put any information here that's literally useless. But putting a page number or page numbers, so an index will list multiple page numbers with each thing, and it's something. There are a lot of software that designs layouts like this, that does it, like professional software will have a button. You can just click it and it auto makes an index. That'll get you 80 to 90% of the way there. You do have to read through it to make sure. You might have to remove some items and you might have to add some items. It depends. It tries to, they're pretty smart these days. I mean, the AI behind these things are pretty impressive, but maybe you're making this in Word, I don't know, in which case you might be out of luck. But you are the deciding factor on what is and isn't in an index, because at the end of the day, it's conceptualizing concepts, right? It's categorizing concepts, not necessarily anything and everything. So if amputated makes sense to be here, put it here, but it needs to either have a definition, or needs to a page number at least, or something. But anyway, but it is on the last page, and I do like that they have the header index there, so that's all ready to go. Big call out boxes here, sub call outs in there. Interesting that, so they're using different things here. It looks like this is a section, like an actual, and then this is just like this, a little image with a little kind of, darkish yellow. I will say this is not the easiest to read. Again, prototype obviously, but just in general, light on light isn't super good. Like this reads really well. This reads really well. This, especially when it's this small, kind of hard to see. So that's my feedback there. Is just make sure it looks really good. Coloration, by the way, in prototypes is almost always a mess. It's not normally the ink levels and all that are just off. They just typically are. Okay, so I'm getting game components on page 28. That is a very odd choice to have game components so late in there. Normally, it's one of the first things. One of the reasons I like that it's first is because often, and I like to see the name of the item and then what it is, right? In other words, like this doesn't show me an identity card, so I may not know this is an identity card. I put this here. You know what I'm saying? A picture of the item, the name, and the description of what it is, and then normally a count of it too, so I can use it to make sure I get that. There is that on the back of the book though, back of the box, but it's on the back of the whole box, so you have to unload the box or have it closed to be able to look at it, and it doesn't have pictures. But I'll often refer back to the game components as I read, because I'll look at all this and it's like I don't know the rules yet. Then I get to the rules, I read the rules, and then I refer back. Oh, okay, they were talking about that. If it's on page 28 randomly, I can't easily go back to it. That's why we put the indexes on the end. Okay, so I guess I might need this defined a little bit. So one of the things, if your call-out boxes are too much, it just looks like it's like that's no longer a call-out box, right? So it'll be kind of interesting to see how obviously again images. This is all prototype. That's why I'm giving feedback, so they can take it or leave it. It's up to them, of course. But yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's like they're like the call out boxes are like whole sections of the page, which is fine. That's some freaking great art. Anyway, we got like examples and stuff here. Perform melee attack, perform a ranged attack. So this is really kind of reiterating what a lot of Okko was. And in fact, I wonder if this is just Okko proper almost. And then everything else. No, because this is the new stuff here. And we got like the cards and stuff like that. So anyway, very cool. Okay, now see, this is another game components. Okay, yes, this is what I was talking about. Oh well, yeah. I'll have to read through it and see. But overall, as long as they get that index looking good, I think they are in great shape. All right. I apologize for the mess of this box. This is one of the messiest unboxings I've probably had. It looks like it's all already punched out. This was probably played before. Oh, actually, it was. I know it was. I apologize. Yeah. So. I was late to get this actually, so this came from somebody else. I don't know who, but it's been played, and it's obviously been played, and that's good. That's great. I'm glad it's getting played. Just front side right now for the prototype. Love the new setting. The snow is great. It's a nice transition there. Got some really creepy stuff going on there. But yeah, I mean, it looks great. These lines as the white on white actually still works well. And these little overlays aren't on the white, so they're easy to see. So that's nice. We got the dots that are different colors because they mean different things, and you'll use them in different ways. A nice variety of inside and outside, and we got some trees. And this is just one map, of course, too. Some statues. some walls. Very cool. Very interesting. So the idea is this is kind of like a defense thing. And that's why you're getting like the central area with like little defensive positions you can do around it. Because the idea is you're defending against, it's like a tower defense game with Okko rules. Just kind of cool. They do really good at a wide variety of expansions. There's one where you're piloting mechs by like eating like larvae. It's like Death Stranding stuff. There's another where you actually are in a dungeon where the tiles are moving around and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so here's like some of the heroes, and again, you'll recognize how this is laid out pretty quick if you've played Okko or seen my other coverage of it. Let's see. Now this is some of the enemies, I would assume, based off the color. We've got some cards here. Oh no, somebody broke off their base there. We'll have to figure that out. We've got light armor and a Naginata. Master Elementalist. Yeah, I don't know if you're doing the notion. No, not Aureus Drunkard. Forced March. Got a skill card here of Dodge. Very dark. Dark on dark right there. Got a whole bunch of cards here. Let's go and take a look at some of the bigger cards. Let's see, all the minis broke. I'll have to... That's unfortunate they didn't put any bubble wrap or anything in there. But at least I got the game. Yeah, resin can be glued. So no big deal there. Alright. Take a look here. Oh my gosh, these are all over the place. They packed this up in a hurry. Okay. Yeah, see, you even have these are like straight from the comics usually. A lot of it. Some of it's original art. At least the first one was. Let me zoom in a little bit. There you go. Alright, so you can kind of see some of the art here. A lot of it is actually from the graphic novels. But see, there she is with her helmet, and then she has it off in some of them too, which is, I think, really cool. She was always cool with the helmet too. His helmet was cooler though. There's getting a bath. That's important. What does that call it? A regeneration. I like it. Heck yeah. Soak it up. So as you can see, like these are, it's the Okko kind of stuff. Looks like we're upside down now. This hurts my brain. There we go. Deadly Cold. Okko ladders. Yeah, so see, determine the destruction area. So they're going to start coming at you with ladders or a new adept. There's an avalanche, panic fear, battering rams. They can swarm of crow. Oh no! So they can come at you with different things that you have to react to. Honestly, I like it. I like the twist. It's going to be different. Necromancy. Oh, everybody loves necromancy. That's awesome. Let's see what's going on. We got the wound cards here. You're familiar with those. They're like these bad things that can happen. Though he's almost smiling through it because he's Okko. But oh yeah, you can get hurt, and like it's not even like a good hurt. It looks like some of these are a little generic. Is that more zoomed in? Is that the same thing, just zoomed in more? It totally is. Interesting. Oh no. Oh yeah, it is zoomed. Okay, sure, why not? Anyway, and then some other cards here. Hey, yeah, we got some followers in here. Okay, that's interesting. These are like part of the expansion stuff. That's kind of interesting. Go Okko, Black Tiger. Interesting. Okay, there's a whole bunch of cards. We got a buttload of tokens. I'm not going to take them out, but you can kind of see them. A whole lot of different shapes and sizes and stuff like that. What's that say? Use a skill card 3 times. Some kind of like unlock thing, perhaps, that they got going on there. Kind of let you guys know about it. Now it looks like we have some minis. Let's see here. We got this one I can show off better. This one I can show off better. I think I can probably show them all. Yeah, it looks like that's it. Okay. All right. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead. And we got some standees too. It's unfortunate we didn't get the minis of them. I'm going to show you these because these were shipped to me, not shipped to somebody else and then shipped over, so I can show you them better. So let's start with this. This is a kind of like a defensive barrier, right, that you can kind of slot your mini into. See the little slot there? It is obviously not a final production plastic, but you can kind of see the detail level here. It already looks great. And honestly, it's deep enough where this would transfer really well already. They would look great. You get a ton of, you get a ton of these. They're just like everywhere. But the idea is you can slot them in like that, right? Or I think there's a little shooty guy that will reflect that better. Yeah, there it is here. So he would kind of go in, and just like that, you would have the little slot where you could fit him in to be able to shoot. And see, it just kind of fits right into there. So that's kind of how you set him up. It looks of it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. I think it's just him and then 2 heroes. So, all right, first things first. Obviously, again, prototype, not final. This is I want to say it's cast. I don't see any postmarks or anything like that. So I think it's a silicone mold. Which means they have some master somewhere, and then you make the mold, and then you sometimes you have to scrape it out of the silicone. It can be a very slow and methodical process to get resin out of a mold, but that's typically what they do, and that's why part of the reason why they don't last so long. So he's got this huge gun going on here, which is really cool. Then he's got his blade tied here, and probably some sake or something. Very kind of at ease. When he's sitting, notice he is off-center. I do appreciate that. That's cool. And it very much fits with this in mind, right? Right? Like he's not like up real close or something like that. Armor looks great. There's a lot of interesting things there. For like changes that the mold would need, there's a few things here, obviously. So there's some negative space right here. And I believe with the pull direction I would take, it would be filled out. So this might have to be an ABS. That being said, deciding where that is, like maybe right here, there's not actually a whole lot of really great, this is where I would hide it, positions on there. Like I guess right there. But then this one's kind of odd. It would have to almost be like that. This, I think, is a good thickness. This shouldn't really need to be thickened too much. Maybe a little bit on this taper here, but the bottom one I think looks fine. So that looks good. There is a little gap right here as well, which is kind of interesting. I don't know exactly how you would fill that out super easily. Maybe give some thought, but yeah, no, it looks great. Then we have this guy here, and again, he's got a little bit of a bent plastic here. I apologize for that. But, I mean, you can see that facial expression, and just, dang, he's snarling. He's got his teeth out, or his tongue. I love seeing his tongue. The separated fingers look very nice. It'd be interesting to see if they combine that or not. It really depends, but Okko makes some fantastic minis. They really do, and these are quality as well. Love the toes here. These are very skinny. These are almost certain to get fattened up with just a little divot. Right now they are individual toes, and they're super skinny. They look amazing here, but I wouldn't count on having that too much. This will have to be ABS, or the PVC will, or very much thickened. I would prefer them to do ABS, obviously, and you could do the attachment right here where this muscle group is. This whole arm, plus this would just be a kind of a mostly flat ABS piece. You might have to do it right here at the wrist as well. It just kind of depends, because this is kind of going at a little bit of an angle, so it might be too high. It has to be kind of flat. It's like a tray that you get. I love the brokenness here. I love the kind of like the weathered, super muscular look. The top knot is awesome. Love that. Armor set is great. I love that there's like a blade missing. Like there's a scabbard here, right? But there's no blade in it, which is kind of interesting to see. But he does have this weapon here. I love the rings on that, by the way. It looks nice. The armor here looks great, nice and separated levels, which I think is great. The lifted up foot, very nice as well. Gives them a nice bit of dynamic look to him, especially with him slightly turned that way. The knees already up too, and it looks like he's about to lift. In fact, if you look, there's a tiny bit of lift there. Do you see that? And I think that's on purpose. He's just about to go, but he's facing that way. He's looking that way. His arm is outstretched that way and open. This is perpendicular to where he's looking at, which I think is very fitting. Or it's kind of like right behind him, but ready to go. There's a lot of greatness here. This is going to be hard on the final sculpt. Same with over here. They're going to want to fill this out a little bit more. So perhaps the arm can be something different. It's big enough. It could be a piece you just slot in on there. That's certainly possible. But yeah, that adds to the price, of course. But otherwise, I like it. The rope looks nice. It's a little thin on texture. It looks great right now, but plastic shrinks. It actually helps. That's part of what helps the mold come off, really. You're not just filling in plastic and having it harden inside of a mold. You could look in that one out. But it does shrink a little bit. But that's a small percentage. And so that can be kind of difficult. I love the little pock marks in here. Like he's just, especially when you paint him, I'm sure, but he's obviously undead. Like this looks cool, but you can see this one's hanging a little low, and this one's right there too. Right, it's not as kempt as like his, right, where it's like super layered and super nice. It's kind of all over the place. Only other character we got is the one I'm most excited about anyway. So she has her sword out. And I really like the tassel. It looks like she's probably swinging forward because this is moved that way, which means she'd be moving this way, which is kind of interesting. She's at... it's kind of an interesting stance. I don't think it's an attack stance. To me, it looks like she's going to hold her sword out, like she's going to call out a charge or something like that, right? Like her feet are in a power stance kind of mode, right? Like compared to his, right, which are really close together. Hers are like really power stanced out, and then it looks like she's about to swing this forward and point it at someone. She's kind of just looking straight. Her torso's just kind of perfectly straight. By the way, I appreciate that she's not sexualized in any way. I think that's awesome. She is a fighter, and that's what she is. The helmet on the back, I think, looks great. Again, these flags are cool too, and it's connected really well here. It's a good thickness. This is angled up. You can do that, and hopefully they will keep that. It's just nice to see, because otherwise you would see it flat right here. Well, you're not going to see it looking at it, when it's on the game table like that. When you pick it up to admire your great paint job, you're going to see that. All this looks great. There is some complex molding there. I wouldn't trust the mold really to capture that well. You might have to put something there or whatever. I love this right here, though. So the scabbard is tucked there, and this is tied, but you can see the stretches. It's tied really, really tight across there, so that stays there, and I really like that. It looks great. I got a little scroll here. I think that's quite fitting too. Again, love the hair. And it makes sense. Like if you were to wear a helmet, this is the kind of hair you would have. She doesn't have like some weird long curly hair that like somehow she put in there and stuff like that. She's a warrior through and through, and freaking bad butt. I love it. It looks great. Her facial features, by the way, look great. It looks, as far as I can tell, ethnically correct when it comes to kind of the facial structure, what I would assume, how the cheeks are, how the lips are, how the eyes are, stuff like that. It looks really nice. There's some really faint textures here. Again, I very am suspect of those showing up. Very, very small little line here underneath, some very small patching and stuff like that. So those tiny little these tiny little details here, I don't see coming through. Whereas these lines here, I think probably could. I would fatten up the bolts there, the little parts connecting them. I think those would almost kind of disappear, but at least for now, it looks great. All right, well, guys, I mean, that is Okko. That's pretty much all there is. There's some tiles, there's a whole bunch of tokens, there's some cards, some minis. Oh, I didn't show you the die. The die are always cool. Look at these things. First of all, black and red, heck yes. Only thing better is white and red. One thing I will say here, this is a different red than this. And while this looks awesome, I love the dark. Apple red is like my favorite red. I love the dark red. I don't like a sports car red, which is kind of what this is. It's almost like an orange. It's too bright and fun. I really love this red. This red looks amazing. However, it is a little bit darker, so it's a little bit less. Like I can see it fine, right on the table there. So I'm not trying to say it's a problem. I am saying that this shows up better. It's a much different contrast between the red here and then the black versus this black and this red. It would be different, I think, if the die was red and these were black, but the majority of it's black, so it just kind of darkens it up, and then you have that red in there. But good grief, that looks nice. Like, that looks great. Love the dice. Love the symbols. That key is freaking sweet. Whatever font they're using is boss. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much it. At least that's what I'm going to show off today. Again, I'm going to get started reading that rule book, however that's laid out, and get to playing. I'll let you guys know. In which case, there is a Kickstarter link, I believe. It'll be down in the description. Go ahead and check that out as well. And while you're down there, go ahead and leave a like if you did appreciate it. Thank you so much. That other way, have a great rest of your day. Take care, guys. Bye.